As someone who has spent a lifetime fighting for equality for all people, I am embarrassed to admit that I have failed to fully respect the women who work for me and with me, and that at times I have intimidated them.
San Diego Mayor Bob Filner says he has a problem and needs help. I'm Dwayne Brown. The mayor's apology to San Diego tonight on KPBS Evening Edition.
I'm Peggy Pico. Also ahead, our in-depth analysis of the mayor's video statement apologizing for his behavior, the next steps, and its impact on City Hall. KPBS Evening Edition starts now.
Hello, good evening. Thanks for joining us. San Diego Mayor Bob Filner says he needs help and is going to get it. Today, the mayor released a video statement apologizing to San Diego. It comes a day after KPBS first broke the story of some of his top supporters calling for his resignation, accusing him of sexually harassing women. We begin with the mayor's video statement in its entirety.
I begin today by apologizing to you. I have diminished the office to which you elected me. The charges made at today's news conference are serious. When a friend like Donna Fry is compelled to call for my resignation, I'm clearly doing something wrong. And I've reached into my heart and soul and realized I must and will change my behavior. As someone who has spent a lifetime fighting for equality for all people, I am embarrassed to admit that I have failed to fully respect the women who work for me and with me, and that at times I have intimidated them. It's a good thing that behavior that would have been tolerated in the past is being called out in this generation for what it is, inappropriate and wrong. I am also humbled to admit that I need help. I have begun to work with professionals to make changes in my behavior and approach. In addition, my staff and I will participate in sexual harassment training provided by the city. Please know that I fully understand that only I am the one that can make these changes. If my behavior doesn't change, I cannot succeed in leading our city. In the next few days, I will be reaching out to those who now work in the mayor's office or have previously worked for me, both men and women, to personally apologize for my behavior. I will also be announcing fundamental changes within the mayor's office designed to promote a new spirit of cooperation, respect, and effectiveness. You have every right to be disappointed in me. I only ask that you give me an opportunity to prove I am capable of change so that the vision I have for our city's future can be realized. Thank you.
Mayor Bob Filner apologizing and saying he needs help, but not offering to resign. Filner's statement came hours after a news conference by some of his most prominent supporters, all of them calling on him to step down. KPBS Metro reporter Sandia Dirks has been following the story. So break it down for us, Sandia. What does this all mean?
Well, as you just heard, the mayor says he is taking these accusations very seriously. And he fessed up. I mean, he did admit he had intimidated and disrespected women in his office. But he came just short of owning up to being a sexual aggressor in the way he's been accused of. And he's pushing the rehabilitation narrative, saying that he needs help, saying he will see a therapist, and asking the people of San Diego to give him a chance to change.
And he also declined to step down.
Yes, and that is in spite of calls for his resignation rising to a clamor. I mean, even some progressive supporters are saying it's time to go. Former Filner staffer and city council person and longtime prominent progressive Donna Fry was at a press conference today. She told reporters she's talked to these women and she was really emotional, at times holding back tears.
When I received credible first-hand evidence of more than one woman being sexually harassed, I could not act. I believe what they have told me, and they need to know that they are not alone. There are people who support and care about them. I did not make this request lightly, and it is one of the hardest decisions I have ever made.
Fry was with progressive lawyers Marco Gonzalez and Corey Briggs, who are also getting behind getting these accusations out. They are all being very tight-lipped. At this point, All we know is hearsay. We don't know how many women have confided in them. We don't know what happened. We don't even know what kind of abuse this was. The mayor has admitted he messed up, but will this be enough to satisfy the women who he hurt? Donna Fry seemed to suggest the alleged abuse may be too heinous to be satisfied with counseling and an I'm sorry. Marco Gonzalez, who is representing these women, says he is consulting with clients, and he says he will issue a response tomorrow. So stay tuned.
KPBS Metro reporter Sandia Dirks. Now Peggy Pico continues our coverage with an in-depth look at the mayor's apology and how it impacts City Hall.
Mayor Bob Filner was sworn into office back in December. Since then, accusations of abrasive, arrogant, and possibly corrupt behavior have been widely publicized. He's never apologized until this afternoon for sexual harassment.
I am embarrassed to admit that I have failed to fully respect the women who work for me and with me, and that at times I have intimidated them.
Here to help put this apology into context is political science professor Carl Luna. And Carl, welcome back.
Good to be here.
Okay, so he openly admits, I did this. He apologizes. What does this mean legally for him?
Well, this could open up the whole can of worms of litigation, sexual harassment lawsuits against him, against the city, and that's going to be a serious distraction coming down the pike. And politically, now the question is whether or not an apology will keep him in office.
Absolutely, and we're going to come back to that. But first I want to talk about, he has said, I'm going to get help. I need to get help. So if you go to rehab and you get help, and if these lawsuits are going down, what happens to his ability to manage the city? How does he do that?
Well, it becomes more problematic. I mean, the city council can become more assertive. There's the city attorney. The mayor's not going to be as engaged, and he's going to be damaged politically to push through any agenda of his own. I have a hard time seeing how he can function effectively as mayor through this whole process.
Well, one thing he didn't say was that he was going to resign, which was what the original calls for his resignation, of course, were saying, right. Please resign over this. If he doesn't resign, is that more likely that there will be a recall?
Oh, people have been talking about a recall for a variety of lesser charges for the last several months. His opponents will seize on it, but now a lot of his supporters are going to say, this is a distraction, we need to move on. But a recall process submits the city to up to 6 months of petitions and filings and election. It would be extremely disruptive to the governance of the city.
It's 6 months, and you have to get 100,000 signatures.
Well, you're looking at 90 days of the process of just getting the signatures in and calling for the election, and up to another 90 days afterwards. It would be a mess.
What happens if he does change his mind over the weekend and resigns?
Well, that may be the gentlest solution to all of this. You end up with the council president, Mr. Gloria, governing until a special election is called, and then it'll still be a couple of months before the ship of state's back on course.
So no matter how this goes, there's going to be a lot of upheaval.
There's disruption, but we're now in the thick of the storm. We don't know what direction we're going with, bad or worse.
This clearly has become national news. San Diego's become, on the national boilerplate once again.
We used to be known for our beaches and sunshine. Now it's fiscal malfeasance and scandal, unfortunately.
So in the political arena, then, let's say that there is a special election, and what's going to happen as far as who do you think might be up for mayor during that time?
Well, Councilman Kevin Faulkner would be an obvious choice to run. Nathan Fletcher, who's now out of politics but is a Democrat, could come back in, and he'd be the odds-on favorite to me. I don't think.
Why would he be the odds-on favorite?
Because he was very popular with a good section of the middle ground. A lot of business interests supported him after the fact and said maybe we made a mistake with going Carl DeMaio. I think he would have a better chance running, and I don't think Carl DeMaio will give up a bid for Congress for a second pass at the mayorship.
And I wanted to talk to you about that because one reason he wouldn't is because he lost already the first time, so he'd be running again against Peters. Maybe.
If he'd be running, he'd have a chance against Scott Peters in that district, the way it breaks. If Nathan Fletcher is another candidate, I think he'd have a harder time against Nathan Fletcher. And you lose twice for mayor. Nixon could come back from a couple of defeats like that. I don't think Carl DeMaio could as easily.
What do you think about, we've got the weekend, coming up. Do you think we'll hear from the mayor before then, and what do you anticipate on Monday?
His hope is this all goes away, but I do not think it's going to. I think over the weekend he's going to find his support base is dried up, and come Monday he's going to be given that choice, be a statesman and resign, or it's going to be an ongoing, grueling process. He could end up going all Richard Nixon on this, and I don't think that would be a good way for the city to go.
But historically, he has fought everything.
He is tenacious, let us say.
All right. Political professor Carl Luna, thank you so much for your insight on this.
Thank you.
2 city council members have now joined the calls for Filner's resignation. Scott Sherman says, quote, Filner's actions are unacceptable under any circumstance. Unfortunately, this is the latest and most disturbing of a series of scandals that make him incapable of leading our city, end quote. And Councilman David Alvarez says, quote, it is clear to me that the mayor's behavior must change. If it does not change, then he should resign. The sexual harassment accusations came 2 days after Filner's engagement fell apart. His ex-fiancée says she's sad and disappointed about the allegations. Amitha Sharma talked with her today in Los Angeles. Amitha is joining us by phone. Bronwyn Ingram broke up with the mayor, Amitha, this week, just days before sexual harassment allegations publicly surfaced. Was the breakup connected to this at all?
Well, Dwayne, Bronwyn said there was no connection between the demise of her romantic relationship with Mayor Bob Filner and the sexual harassment accusations. Bronwyn says she feels tremendous sadness and disappointment over the events of this week. She said she knows former San Diego Councilwoman Donna Fry well and has a lot of respect for her. When I asked her whether she agrees with Fry's call for Filner to resign because of the sexual harassment allegations, she said she'd like to, quote, just leave it there. Despite dating the mayor for 4 years, Bronwyn maintains she did not know about the sexual harassment accusations. She said people simply did not come to her with this stuff. Stories have also circulated for months that the mayor had been seeing other women, even though he was engaged to Bronwyn. She declined to comment about whether the mayor had cheated on her, Dwayne.
KPBS investigative reporter Amitha Sharma with the exclusive interview today with the mayor's ex-fiancée. Now, earlier we told you about a news conference held by Donna Fry and 2 progressive attorneys who've called on the mayor to resign. One of those attorneys, Corey Briggs, has filed a lawsuit over another controversy. This one involves a Sunroad project in Kearney Mesa. Briggs is suing Sunroad Enterprises and the city, claiming there was a deal, $100,000 for some of Filner's pet projects in exchange for an easement from a public park. While the Department of Justice is reportedly looking into the mayor's involvement, Briggs says the focus shouldn't just be on the mayor.
You have to remember that 8 council members unanimously voted for that giveaway, despite some of them being up on the dais and being critical of the mayor over the $100,000. Yet they still voted to give away public park property. That's unconscionable, and unfortunately it's symptomatic of what goes on at City Hall far too often.
The lawsuit claims approval of the project was illegal because the city didn't follow proper procedures. Of course, you can find much more about this story on our website, including the mayor's statement and letters from Donna Fry, attorneys Corey Briggs and attorney Marco Gonzalez. They're all posted at kpbs.org. A new business incubator is about to open in Carlsbad. The city hopes it will eventually generate new high-paying jobs, but it's a risky venture. KPBS North County Bureau Chief Allison St. John gives us a look at this hacker space for biology.
Talk about a space that's empty but full of potential. This is what the new Biotech and Beyond incubator looked like 2 weeks ago, before lab benches were moved in. The website calls it a hybrid, part science educator, part biotech startup accelerator. Joseph Jackson, one of the co-founders, showed us around as the equipment was arriving.
Through here we have the tissue culture room, which is not quite set up. We have multiple objectives. I like to talk in terms of sort of democratizing science, but also demystifying it and even domesticating biology, if you will.
Jackson has a vision to create a space where trained scientists can conduct their own private research, and ordinary citizens can come to learn about molecular biology and how to conduct experiments. He convinced the city of Carlsbad it would be an investment to lease this building to the incubator for $1 a year.
It was vacant for more than a decade, so $1 was really more than we were getting in the past.
Christina Vincent, Economic Development Director for the city of Carlsbad, says the venture fits well into Carlsbad's identity as a biotech hub.
What some people may not know is that for the region, we have actually 24% of the region's life sciences jobs right here in Carlsbad, which equates to over 120 businesses locally.
At this point, Biotech and Beyond is just the seed of an idea beginning to take root here in Carlsbad. But it has the potential to become a powerful job creator by changing the model of the way that science is funded.
Perfect. I think everyone understands that the old model is collapsing, right? Whether in the pharmaceutical industry, they're calling it Pharmageddon, referring to the kind of crisis in productivity of R&D, where there have been no new drugs discovered to fill the pipeline for Big Pharma, and they've been laying off their workforce right and left. So the traditional career paths are no longer there.
Jackson says it costs $1 billion and well over a decade to bring a new drug to market under the current system. Graduate student Leah Cannon says it's about finding more cost-effective ways to foster future innovation. She believes even citizen scientists could play a role.
People still don't understand and are probably a little bit intimidated by the whole concept of things like DNA and RNA and proteins. How do our cells actually work? How do you actually do experiments? But the funny thing is, when you're on the inside as a scientist, it's actually really pretty simple. And there's a lot of things you can do to find out some really important information with some really simple experiments. So we just want to teach people how to do that.
The idea is to create a fertile mix of citizen scientists with seasoned researchers. Seasoned scientists are already showing an interest in using the lab for their own private research because any discoveries done in an employer's lab automatically belongs to the employer. Katerina Bobkova says she's had many years of experience with companies like DuPont and Merck, but she's now launching her own company.
We are a small molecule drug discovery company. We're currently concentrating on anti-cancer drug discovery and development.
Babkova says research lab space can cost thousands of dollars a month, whereas here it'll cost a few hundred to rent a bench for a month.
Oh, it's absolutely important for very early startups like us. When you do need a lab space, an affordable lab space, and you want to be in the company of other people with professional background like your own.
The biggest challenge for this startup incubator will be to raise the financial support to become self-sustaining. But the cost of doing things like mapping a human genome is falling fast. Co-founder Kevin Lustig, a Harvard graduate with 2 science-related companies of his own already, is excited about who'll show up to use the lab space.
There are probably, in this area alone, hundreds of people, if not thousands, who have a tremendous amount of talent. They could be the next Einstein for all we know. But because of the fact that they were born into a certain situation, they needed to get a job because they started their family early, they never got the opportunity to get that training and to interact with like-minded people. And so we're trying to lower the barrier to innovation so those people come in the door and we can help identify those people that can really help us solve the problems that we face together.
The city of Carlsbad has set ambitious goals for Biotech and Beyond to grow membership to 50 people in the first year and launch 8 startups in the first 2 years. Alison St. John, KPBS News.
The Navy is getting ready to retire a pair of San Diego frigates. USS Thatch will be decommissioned in November. Last spring, you may recall, the ship's counter-narcotics mission was cut short by federal budget cuts. And the USS Rents will be retired in May. The Rents is set to deploy on an anti-drug mission later this month. The Navy has been working to decommission all of its Perry-class frigates. They've been in service since the Carter administration. For the first time, Marines will be able to wear their uniform during San Diego's Pride Parade this weekend. Peggy Pico talks with a Marine about the new rules and why it matters.
The annual San Diego LGBT Pride Parade is the 4th largest in the country, attracting about 200,000 spectators each year. Among the newly authorized military members to wear uniforms at the event are military recruiters. Here with further details are my guest, First Lieutenant Garth Langley and Fernando Lopez with San Diego LGBT Pride. Thank you both for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Fernando, a lot has happened in this past year with all the Supreme Court rulings. Have they influenced this year's theme?
Oh, the theme was actually voted on by the community early on in the year. So it was quite fortuitous that it just so happens that the theme that was voted on was the freedom to love and marry. And now in the last couple of weeks, we've had these huge court victories. So I think our community was just ready for marriage equality to return to the state of California, and now it's federally recognized. So it was really good on the part of the community that they did that.
It looked like some good planning, certainly. Now, tell us about the timeline on how the military uniforms basically progressed. How long ago was it that you couldn't be in military dress and march in the parade, and where it is today?
Sure. So we had our first military contingent in San Diego in 2011 with about 200 people participating, and that was just before the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell went through. So service members were asked to wear T-shirts that said the branch of the military that they were participating in. Last year, 2012, we got sweeping approval from the Department of Defense for anybody to wear their uniforms in the Pride Parade. And so now here we are this year with sort of a piecemeal put together. The Navy Region Southwest has said yes. The Marines for this region have said yes. So we're still hopeful that more will come in the final days, but it's looking really good.
Let me toss that over to Lieutenant Langley. Now, what is different? Now, last year, the Marines could wear uniform because of the Department of Defense, right? What is different this year? Why is it special this year?
Well, based on the Office of Secretary of Defense's discretion to defer to local commanders to make the decision this year, 1MEF, the 1st Marine Expeditionary Force, actually took a proactive stance in order to authorize that for all Marines and sailors within the 1MEF command. So obviously the difference this year is that OSD has deferred to local commanders, and that's why you see such a large presence of both Marines and sailors from the San Diego region being authorized to participate this year.
If somebody is not from this region, or let's say that they're military and they haven't been given permission to do it, what should they do?
Well, for all of the West Coast and Southern California-based Marines and sailors, obviously authorization to do so has been disseminated. For those outside of those, obviously I can't speak for those respective branches, but I would say that it is again up to those military commands and ultimately those commanders to make those decisions, and that those service members should submit official requests
to their commander. How many? Fernando, how many service members are expected to participate in this year's parade?
So the first year we had about 200. Last year we had about 300. The buzz has been building, so we're hopeful that we're going to be breaking those records again and have over 300 this year.
And let's get into these national recruiters who are going to be there. This is the first time we're looking at some video of. These are not the national recruiters. This is we've got the Pride Parade from last year, and a whole lot of people there. Bunches of different groups supporting. This year, we've got some people coming, recruiters coming to participate in the festival. That's the first time for San Diego.
Yes, the California Army National Guard is coming to inside the San Diego Festival. So we have a 2-day festival at Marston Point and Balboa Park, and different organizations, community groups pay to participate in that. And this is the first time that the California Army National Guard is actually going to be proactively recruiting from inside the festival. Police and firefighters have been doing it for years, and now we have the Army National Guard. So that's a really cool addition this year.
Garth, do you think that's a good idea? It seems a little bit like everybody's happy, we're all here, we're all doing it.
All I know is that for the Marines of 1MEF, we're definitely proud to be able to wear our uniforms in the parade, and it's a definite stepping stone to future participation in this great event. And really, San Diego Pride Parade is it's a proving grounds for military participation in this type of event, and we're a very diverse community inherently, and obviously the LG bisexual community also is very large in this area. So we're just happy to participate.
So much progress. I want to thank you both for giving us an update and talking to us about the LGBT Pride Parade in San Diego, and let folks know that the parade is this Saturday, July 13th. It starts at 11 o'clock in the morning. It'll last at least 2 hours. The 1.5-mile route winds through Hillcrest. You can see the map there on your screen. For more information, go to kpbs.org.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next News Hour, the latest on the Florida trial of George Zimmerman, charged in the shooting death of 17-year-old Trayvon Martin. That's Thursday on the PBS News Hour.
Recapping our top story tonight, Mayor Bob Filner admits he needs help, but he is not resigning. Filner is accused of sexually harassing women. In a video statement, he apologized for his behavior.
As someone who has spent a lifetime fighting for equality for all people, I am embarrassed to admit that I have failed to fully respect the women who work for me and with me, and that at times I have intimidated them.
And earlier, we heard from three prominent supporters of the mayor who went before news cameras to repeat their calls for him to step down. Former council member Donna Fry worked for Filner briefly. She says asking him to resign was a difficult decision, but says she had to act when she got credible evidence of Filner sexually harassing multiple women.
I believe what they have told me, and they need to know that they are not alone.
Fry appeared with attorneys Marco Gonzalez and attorney Corey Briggs, and Gonzalez says he will hold another news conference tomorrow to respond to Filner's statement. You can find Filner's entire statement online at kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. Good night.